Okay, so it feels like every day there's another headline about AI,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like AI is going to revolutionize everything,
It's pretty crazy.
curing diseases and making our cities smarter. It's really exciting stuff.
Yeah, definitely a lot of potential.
But I got to admit, um, with all the hype,
Mm-hmm.
I've been kind of wondering about, the costs.
Yeah, what about the downsides, right?
Exactly. Like, what about the environmental costs of all this?
That's a good point.
I was reading this article the other day, and it really got me thinking about AI's impact.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, especially like the impact on the planet's water supply.
Water.
Yeah, it turns out there's a pretty big connection there.
Huh. I guess I never really thought about that.
It's kind of hidden.
Yeah.
But this article really kind of digs into it, and I thought, it'd be great to kind of deep dive into this together today.
Yeah, for sure. I'm curious to learn more about this.
Okay, cool. So the main thing this article talks about is how all the magic of AI basically happens in these giant data centers.
Right, the data center. Yeah.
Exactly, like rows and rows of these super powerful computers just constantly crunching data
Mm-hmm.
and running these complex algorithms.
But those computers generate a ton of heat.
Right, that's when they get super hot.
So how do they keep them from, melting down?
Well, that's where the water comes in.
Oh, okay.
They use massive amounts of water to cool these data centers down.
I see. So it's like AI is making the planet think harder, and that requires a lot of cooling power.
Yeah, it's a pretty crazy thought.
So how much water are we actually talking about here?
Well, the article had some pretty shocking numbers.
Okay.
Like Google, for example, they use a volume of water that's equivalent to 1/18th of Lake Athabasca
Wow.
in a single year.
Wait, 18th of Lake Athabasca? That's huge.
It's massive.
Yeah.
Like Lake Athabasca is one of the biggest lakes in North America.
Yeah. Okay, that puts it in perspective.
And it's not just Google.
Oh, I bet.
Microsoft's water usage for their AI stuff went up by 34% just last year.
Seriously?
Yeah, ended up using 7.8 million cubic meters of water.
That's like trying to fill thousands of Olympic swimming pools.
I know, it's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And it brings up this whole other issue of the water energy nexus.
The water energy nexus.
Yeah, have you heard of that?
I'm not sure I'm familiar with that term.
Basically, it's this idea that our water systems and our energy systems are totally interconnected.
Okay, that makes sense.
So these data centers, they don't just need any water. They need fresh, clean water.
Right.
And that often comes from the same sources that we use for drinking water and for agriculture.
Oh, I see the problem.
Yeah. So when a company decides to build a huge data center in a place that's already struggling with water shortages,
Right.
like the article talks about this situation in Santiago, Chile,
Mm.
it kind of forces us to ask, is this really the best use of this vital resource?
Yeah, that's a really tough question.
Especially when you consider that, people in those areas might be struggling to get enough water for their basic needs.
Exactly. It's like, are we prioritizing AI over people?
Right. And then there's the whole other issue of how these data centers are even powered in the first place.
Oh, yeah. How do they get all that energy?
Well, the article talks about Microsoft's plan to use nuclear power.
Nuclear power.
Yeah, they're even thinking about bringing back these old reactors like
Yeah.
3 Mile Island.
Wow, that's pretty controversial.
Definitely raises some ethical questions.
For sure. Like nuclear power, it's cleaner than fossil fuels in terms of emissions.
Right.
But is it right to dedicate all that energy just to power AI?
Yeah, what about making sure that everyone has access to electricity, for their homes and businesses?
Yeah, that's a really good point. And let's not forget that nuclear power comes with its own set of risks and challenges.
Like waste disposal and the potential for accidents.
Exactly.
So we've got this huge water footprint and this energy dilemma. But the article also pointed out that even our everyday interactions with AI, like just using ChatGPT, contributes to the demand.
Really?
Yeah, I was surprised by that too.
I mean, I use ChatGPT all the time.
Me too.
Well.
But it turns out that even those little interactions can have a big impact.
How so?
Well, research has shown that answering just 10 to 55 questions on ChatGPT
Okay.
uses as much water as a standard water bottle.
Wow. Had no idea.
It's a good reminder that our digital lives have a real-world impact.
Yeah, you don't always think about it when you're just typing away on your computer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it all kind of comes down to this question of what can we do about it?
Yeah, is there a way to balance our reliance on AI with our responsibility to the environment?
I mean, hopefully there is.
Yeah, I think so too.
What do you think are some of the solutions here?
Well, I think first of all, we need more transparency from these tech companies.
Mhm.
They need to be upfront about how much water and energy they're using.
So we can make informed decisions as consumers.
Yeah, exactly. And I think governments have a role to play, too.
You mean like regulations?
Yeah, regulations to ensure that AI development is sustainable.
That makes sense. But what about us as individuals?
Oh, we can all do our part, too. Being mindful of our own AI usage.
You mean like not asking ChatGPT every random question that pops into our head?
Exactly. Maybe save it for the important stuff.
And support companies that are committed to sustainable practices.
Yes, definitely. Look for companies that are using renewable energy and being responsible with their water usage.
Okay, so transparency, regulation, and individual awareness.
Yeah, those are all important steps.
But what about the AI itself?
What do you mean?
Can AI be part of the solution to these environmental challenges?
Oh, that's an interesting thought.
The article actually mentioned this example of Google DeepMind's AlphaFold.
AlphaFold.
Yeah, it's this AI system that predicts protein structures.
I think I've heard of that.
It's pretty amazing. It even won a Nobel Prize.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, so imagine AI helping us develop things like more efficient solar panels
Uh-huh.
or optimizing water usage in agriculture.
Yeah, or even designing entirely new sustainable materials.
That's a cool thought.
What if AI could help us solve the very problems it's currently contributing to?
It's like AI could be the hero of its own story.
Exactly.
So it sounds like it all comes back to balance,
Good
right?
balance.
Yeah, recognizing the incredible potential of AI, but also being aware of the costs
Mm-hmm.
and advocating for responsible development
I think that's a great way to put it.
and being mindful of our own choices as consumers and users of AI.
Absolutely.
So yeah, this whole conversation has been really eye-opening for me.
Me too.
It's so easy to get caught up in the excitement of AI,
Yeah.
but we really need to understand its impact on the environment.
Totally agree. This article focused on water, but it got me thinking about all the other impacts.
Like what?
What about AI's carbon footprint?
Oh yeah.
Or the impact of mining the rare earth minerals that are used to build all these computers?
There are so many layers to this issue.
Yeah, it's definitely something worth exploring further.
Well, this has been a fantastic deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for sharing your insights. I think this is a conversation we all need to be having. So to all our listeners out there, I encourage you to keep learning about the environmental impact of AI.
Yeah, stay informed and make conscious choices.
And together, let's make sure that the future of AI is a sustainable one.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
See ya!